a demanding role in a high pressure environment um, can be very, very stressful at times. High pressure environments increasingly become a norm in our businesses, corporate and other private businesses throughout the world. In the pursuit of career growth and ticking all the boxes, KPIs, training, staff development, sales targets, you name it, and relationships, not to forget, it's easy to lose track of where the pressure comes from and how we deal with it. This podcast will reveal two major misconceptions, two pain points that many people come across, and they fail to recognize them as a pain points and as a misconceptions. So therefore, they fall deeper into stressing themselves about this, adhering to this environment, and often fall into overwhelm or even stress. So, my name is Angela Cox. If this is your first time, this podcast is for anyone who works in dynamic businesses, who enjoys dynamic businesses, who enjoys fast-paced environments and businesses, and prides themselves to work well under pressure. Because in this podcast, you will learn two misconceptions that you can change your views towards and shift in your own approach how you deal with stress or high pressure environments. So, businesses these days are fast. Um, the complexities of demands sometimes create a pressure cooker environment for many of us, especially in leading roles. So I hear it from many of my clients that the work is tense, the job is busy, and I knew what I signed up for, so I'm not complaining. It is a fantastic approach to own your position, to own your approach, to be responsible for your role, for demands of your role. You knew what you signed up for. It's fantastic. So what do we do to release that pressure, or to deal with pressure when it's only keep growing? We rise up to a challenge. We deal with pressure the best way we know. And many people, here we come to misconception number one, feel that to deal with these challenges, they better be left alone, and they actually confine themselves to isolation. When I say isolation, I mean that they put the barriers, they don't want to share it with anyone, and they grow strong in their own belief that they have to face the challenge on their own. And this is the mistake number one. Um, it is important to note that when we begin to get closer and closer to overwhelm, we are unable to differentiate where the problem comes from and where it lies really. So I want you to pay close attention to this small bit here, okay? So as I said, we believe that we supposed to face the challenge of high pressure and so on and demanding role on our own. And this statement is not actually wrong. We face it on our own, in our own terms, and we deal with it on our terms, right? But how you deal with it is with the challenge is completely up to you. So you face the challenge on your own, fair enough. But when you found the blemishes and gaps in your strategies, when you find that your environment beginning to pressurize you a little bit too much, that's where you begin to deal with it in your own terms. So you go off, you speak to someone, the strategist, coach, trustee who has potent uh, strategies, and without any prejudice, without agenda reflection on the process, on what you go through. and can advise you or can guide you how to develop new strategies and new approaches. And that's where you develop your own unique, tailored approach. And then you go back to your workplace and you face those challenges on your own with a renewed strategy. I hope that makes sense. So, your renewed outlook will guarantee your positive outcomes then. The mistake number 2 is our failure to recognize that the pressure we're under is a one thing, and the pressure we put ourselves under in order to deliver, in order to fulfill the role, in order to lead the team, in order to hit the targets, the pressure that comes from within is a different thing. And oftentimes we try to change outside world and outside environment, and we complain about the pressure and stress that work puts on us without realizing that the main stress and pressure comes within, that I have to adhere, I have to perform, I have to lead the team, I have to do this, that, and the other. And when we are in that mindset, we often miss on many, many other points that guide us out of the high pressure into the calm kind of waters. So, trying to be in many places at once often gets you only closer to overwhelm. So, it's worth your while to remember that point, and also worth noting. Although the initial pressure comes from work environment, and I do get it, I hear many women tell me that the role is very busy, it's demanding, it's just the way business is. Naturally, evidently, there is loads of pressures coming from all directions at you as an individual. It's very important to remember that sooner or later, if you make no changes, and if you make no shifts to how you deal with this high pressure environment, this pressure from work will always spill into your personal life. And where the things may get also tense. When that happens, the process becomes very, very fluid. So the tension is almost everywhere. And that's where we fail to differentiate. We simply have no time nor desire to differentiate where the initial pressure came from. Was it the relationship affecting my work, or is it the work affecting my relationship? What's the first, chicken or an egg, or do I care? We just want this pressure to ease, and this is the part when we enter overwhelm and stress. So to sum up these mistakes, the first and foremost, it's the latter one. When we place our efforts to fix our external pressures, neglecting the pressure we put ourselves under, we're setting ourselves up for a very, very stressful ride. So this is important to remember. And to sum up these mistakes, there are two mistakes I talk about. There are two misconceptions. They're quite strong in conversations I have with my clients, and they come across with each and every one of them. But to complete this process, to really develop a really good bespoke strategy for yourself, there are more steps involved into it, a couple of more steps that I will gladly share with you. So I really encourage you to DM me a word solution. I have 3 steps pardon me, I have 3 spots for 3 people to have a talk, to have a call next week, who I can help to develop the strategy by reflecting on your story, on your high pressure environment, and developing this bespoke strategy with you. So if you're one of those people who are who's fed up, completely fed up with applying the same techniques and strategies to your a high pressure environment and not getting results that you want, I really want to help you. I really want to hear from you, because you can shift it within a couple of weeks. You can have completely different approach and move into ease, flow, and calm, instead of being squeezed by the pressure that work on yourself, applying on yourself, you applying on yourself. 3 spots for 3 people. My DM is open. My inbox is always open. So I would love to hear from you.